In this video, we'll be telling you the 7 reasons why INFJ have psychic abilities. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is a popular way to understand what personality type you have. Out of the 16 personalities included in the typology, INFJ is one that shows many signs of mystic knowledge. Now, INFJ is an acronym for introversion, intuition, feeling, and judging. If you don't understand where these came from, then you need to know the 4 spectrums of the Myers-Briggs test. This psychological evaluation tests people's preferences in 4 different areas to reveal their personality. This includes introversion to extroversion, sensing to intuition, feeling to thinking, and judging to perceiving. An INFJ is someone who is introspective and tries to find patterns in everything. They're great at studying the past and future, and even empathizing with those around them because of their social rationality. If that wasn't enough, then an INFJ also has a great sense of timing and orderliness, which makes them super deadline-oriented. Together, most of these traits make a personality that can look psychic. But the real question is, are INFJs really psychic? The answer is not really. Even though their profound realizations can look like some sort of divine intervention, it's just a result of how their brains function. If you're trying to understand INFJs, then here are 7 reasons why they appear to have psychic abilities. Reason number 1. They have introverted intuition and extroverted sensing. If that sounded like a lot of complicated words, then don't worry. We're about to explain everything. Psychoanalyst Carl Jung said that introverted intuition means the ability to evaluate everything around you. Someone who has this trait is likely to comprehend general occurrences in the best way and can even predict future possibilities better than everyone else. Now, since INFJs have introverted intuition, they have very strong hunches about everything. Their unconscious reasoning gives them aha moments all the time because their brain is always detecting patterns and connecting dots to find explanations. The best part of it all is that they're almost always accurate. Along with introverted intuition, these rare INFJ individuals also have extroverted sensing. Now, this is another complicated part of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator that you may have to understand. In simple words, extroverted sensing helps INFJs take very close notice of their 5 senses. In fact, it's almost as if they're super aware of everything that's happening around them. The extroverted sensing gathers information from the 5 senses and sends it to the brain, where introverted intuition takes over. You can also think of this as their 6th sense, because it helps them predict likely outcomes in the future. INFJs might appear to be psychic because they predict things, but they're actually just finding patterns in their head. They're better at connecting tiny hints and pieces of information than an average human. Interestingly, you might think that INFJs use their brains more, but that's not true at all. In fact, this whole introverted intuition and extroverted sensing process are completely unconscious. On some occasions, even the INFJs themselves get scared when they accurately predict an event in the future. Reason number 2. They're constantly evaluating people. INFJs are always hunting for human emotions and thoughts. Even as little kids, it's easy for them to understand who likes them and who doesn't. In fact, they're usually annoyed by the fact that other people can't pick up on their behaviors in the same way. As adults, INFJs could walk into any room and start making a mind map of all the social connections around them. In most cases, they won't even know what they're doing because the whole process is completely subconscious. They'll quickly figure out who likes who hates who, and who's jealous of who. With this information, they'll know how to ask the right questions to dig deeper into people and their feelings. This means INFJs are constantly comparing human connections. And because they have a great memory, it's easy for them to find patterns and predict how things are going to go down. They might even try to tell you to avoid being friends with a certain person because they've already predicted that things are about to go south. But since it's hard to explain where this social judgment comes from, INFJs usually keep their opinions to themselves. They simply don't know how to tell other people that their brain does extensive social math on its own, and whatever they're predicting is highly likely to be true. If they do start explaining, then they'll only look like some mind-reading psychic. Reason number 3. They're very symbolic. Another reason why it may look like INFJs have psychic abilities is because of their visual nature. These people see very striking images in their mind and learn to interpret them from a young age. By the time they're adults, INFJs prefer understanding things through symbols, illustrations, and archetypes. Even when they try to explain something, they'll rely on these symbols by using lots of metaphors. They can't rely on literal interpretations. They need to dig deeper and deeper. For example, a normal individual might look at a chain and say that it's made of metal. They might even tell you a personal story of when they used the chain on their last cargo trip. On the other hand, an INFJ will look at the chain and say that it symbolizes slavery and domination. In fact, they'll end their explanation with a question like, "Why is this chain here?" or "What's the purpose of this chain?" Just like we said, other people see the chain for what it literally is, but INFJs see it as a symbol of something. They try to find the hidden meaning in everything. The same thing applies to social interactions with an INFJ. These people don't take anything at face value, so you'll always find them trying to analyze things. Even when they're talking to your friends, INFJs don't accept the words coming out of your mouth. They'll also consider your posture, body movement, tone of voice, eyes, and connect the whole thing to your past to understand what you really mean. Now, being symbolic isn't a bad thing, but it really makes them look psychic. Since they overanalyze everything they see, they're able to make very accurate predictions for the future. And if they tell others about what they think, then everyone sees them as someone who has psychic abilities. Reason number 4. They are exceptional listeners. INFJs are known for how empathetic and caring they are. At the core, they want to be accepted and understood for the people they are, no matter how weird they seem, and that's how they treat other people. If you talk to an INFJ, you'll always find them listening to understand what you're saying. Even if you have an incorrect opinion on something, they won't be interested in correcting you. Instead, they want to hear your point of view and try to understand where you're coming from. They don't care about being the smartest person in the room. Instead, they want to understand people at a deeper level. Their minds need an explanation about people's words, actions, and behaviors. When INFJs hear other people's stories, they know exactly how to feel how the other person is feeling. And if they don't, they'll make it a habit to ask questions that reveal your deepest, darkest emotions. This incredible quality makes INFJs look like they're reading your mind, but they aren't. They're just listening very closely to uncover everything you're hiding under the surface. Reason number 5. They sense hidden motives. If you ever try to hide something from an INFJ, you'll probably fail. That's because they are incredibly good judges of character and can sense hidden motives from a mile away. This trait also comes from their introverted intuition, which helps them see under the surface of things. Even if you're trying to act like the nicest person alive, an INFJ will see beyond the mask you're putting on. They often think about why people are saying or doing certain things, and that's how they uncover people's real motives. By sensing anyone's hidden motives quite easily, others tend to think INFJs have psychic abilities. It's almost as if they can predict your next move in their sleep. Even though it'd be really cool if that were true, it isn't. This personality type simply pays a lot of attention to detail and always know what's going on around them. They aren't very quick to trust people either, so they'll always be judging someone's vibe before developing a closer bond with them. If you want to be friends with an INFJ, then you need to learn to be very honest. If you're trying to play any kind of games with them, they'll quickly notice it with the little hints and clues in your behavior. Reason number 6. They aren't ruled by their ego. Since INFJs are ruled by their introverted intuition, they aren't driven by their ego at all. In fact, they barely ever focus on themselves and try to keep their attention on other people. Because of this trait, INFJs are super easygoing people when it comes to accepting other people's opinions. In fact, they tend to value other people's perspectives and love listening to their thoughts. This makes them better empaths, or people who are great at recognizing the needs of other people. If you're friends with an INFJ, they'll probably notice the slightest change in your behavior and ask you if something's wrong. They aren't judging this by the look on your face or your dull mood. Instead, their inner empathy helps them connect with people emotionally and understand their needs even without saying a word. Most people can interpret such a situation by thinking that INFJs have psychic abilities, but they don't. They're just very good at noticing things and understanding other people's needs. Reason number 7. INFJs have a lot of lucid dreams. Sigmund Freud said that dreams are a gateway to our unconscious self, and this is true for INFJs who tend to have a lot of lucid dreams. During this type of dream, you become aware that you're dreaming and can control the events to some extent. We already told you that INFJs are very visual individuals who rely on symbols, so their dreams aren't any less. They tend to feel lots of complicated emotions and notice the symbolism throughout their dreams. Since they can get this from the real world, INFJs use these lucid dreams to improve their introverted intuition. INFJs are known to find meaning in everything, so they use their dreams to find answers to questions that are bothering them in the real world. In fact, their dreams can also help them feel better about their so-called psychic abilities. Most INFJs are lucid dreamers, but they wake up feeling more confident and empowered. They use these dreams as a gateway to their inner self and end up having a better understanding of who they are. Once they've understood their capabilities, they know how to use them in the best possible way. Through these lucid dreams, INFJs gain the confidence they need to take on the real world and find patterns that help them in the future. This may sound like a supernatural ability to you, but it's just what reality looks like for an INFJ person. Overall, INFJs are better than everyone else at finding patterns through their impeccable attention to detail. The best part of it all is that they don't do this consciously. It's simply the way their brain functions normally. And during all this, they get these profound realizations that make it look like they're psychics who can predict the future for anybody. Even though they aren't psychic, they're still incredibly gifted in seeing things that aren't in front of you. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you know anyone who is an INFJ? Do you take their intuition seriously or just dismiss them? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out other videos on our channel. Click now to watch.